With us now for more is Benny Laguesma, Secretary of the Department of Labor and Employment. Good to have you on, Sec Benny. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Kathy, and good morning also to all your televiewers.
Okay,
And thank you for the opportunity.
And what do you make of the results? June unemployment down 3.7%, and underemployment is also down 11.4%.
Well, Kathy, on the part of the Department of Labor and Employment, we welcome and are inspired more to do better as the President has directed during his SONA last July 28. We were instructed to pursue further and enhance delivery of services along the line of increasing employment for our job seekers and those who are actually part of the unemployed.
Okay, well, talk to us about the details there. Where did we get fewer unemployed individuals and more employed individuals? In which sectors and why?
Actually, what we see from the past surveys, which we are actually following through, we see increases in the industry. Part of that would always be in construction. After the ban last election, May, I think the construction activities have started also to probably be enhanced and continue to be pursued, no? In line with the Build Better More program of the President. And then we also look at increases in the agricultural sector, although we are unfortunately visited by successive typhoons and last week of July, almost the last week of July, and we continue to reel from this actually devastation brought about by 3 successive typhoons and the habagat, the monsoon. So we continue to actually enhance programs of the Department of Labor and Employment to ensure that we're able to deliver services, especially on enhancing youth employability and women employability too.
Let me pick up on the habagat, Secretary, because there had been a big disruption there. Could it mean job losses in the next reading for July?
Yes, maybe it will have an impact, but as you can see, the department also has launched again its temporary employment program. Maybe we'll see again an uptick in the underemployed, but we look forward to having more quality jobs. I think that's the directive of the President for the department, not simply the Department of Labor and Employment, but also other departments like DTI, DSWD, and other related departments, including the Department of Tourism, Kathy.
Indeed, quality of jobs is really key. But let me take you through the one-off, the seasonals, because some of the economists point out that the improvements that we see are likely because of the temporary election-related hiring and the seasonal gains that we're seeing in tourism and agriculture. So how much of this is true?
Yes, I think that's partly true. We cannot discount that kind of an analysis. I think our economists are really looking at the developments, and I would say they also actually characterized by scientific findings and looking at historical basis. And maybe we can add that in the labor market of the Philippines is always characterized by seasonality, volatility, as well as calamity. So all of these have to be factored in so that we can probably ensure that the growth in employment, the private sector continues to be inspired and actually continue to invest in more quality jobs, more remunerative as well as long-lasting jobs.
Let's pick on youth unemployment, Secretary, because we've seen quite an improvement. If we just pull up the graph there, we can see a great improvement there coming from the global financial crisis. It really went down, so a lot more young people were employed, but then it went up, of course, understandably, because it was the pandemic. But then we've seen it fall, albeit declining, though. Youth unemployment is still stubbornly high. So how are the current programs now targeting the new graduates and the first-time job seekers? And are they keeping pace with the evolving needs of, say, the digital and the green economy?
Kathy, I think we are happier when youth unemployment is quite down, because for us we read that as they are actually back in school. back in training so that they will be more ready to transition from school to work. And we continue to enhance our programs on youth employability. I mentioned this during the POSONA, the special program for the employment of students, our government internship program, our Job Start. And we actually complement this with our career development counseling support program so that we will be able to guide our students, even the first-time job seekers, where opportunities lie. And on the matter of AI, it's the President himself who led a meeting with the private sector so that we can actually align what we do, not only the Department of Labor and Employment, the ICT, the OST, and other related departments, even DepEd, so that we can ensure that work-to-school transition would more or less be smooth, if not totally seamless, so that the youth will be assured of landing a job once they finish their courses, whether it's higher education or actually BOCTEC.
And also giving them the quality of jobs, which we are so in need of. Are we seeing more full-time formal sector jobs or still a rise in part-time low-wage work?
Well, I think we see both. But as far as more permanent jobs are concerned, we are looking at those committed investments which are actually starting to materialize this year. There was a projection that more or less additional 200,000 jobs will be created because of committed investments that are actually being now being put in operation. Some have already been translated into actual jobs. And so we have to pursue. And I think we have to give it the credit to the President because he was so passionate in selling the Philippines as a haven for destination. And so what we can do really is to provide an enabling environment conducive to investment, not just for new investors, but also to those who are already invested, has invested, and continue to consider the Philippines as a good place to invest so that more jobs, more quality jobs can be generated.
So as you say, the enabling policies are already in place. How much time before we see a lot more coming to the formal system and having a more stable, qualitative job?
Yes, you're correct, Cathy. Remember, under this administration, the focus on is in doing jobs, is in actually doing business. Also, more or less look at how do you reduce the cost of doing business, because this has to be considered. Both of these have to be considered so that investors can actually have that level of comfort that when they do invest in the Philippines, they will be able to also have a reasonable return of their investments in the Philippines and possibly look at its expansion and growth, which the department will really welcome because this will amount to additional jobs, more secure jobs.
So reducing the gap between unemployment and underemployment rate, how long will it take, Secretary? Do you think that could be narrowed within this year?
We try to do our best because it's TESDA, who's actually looking at job skills mismatches. But as I mentioned earlier, the seasonality of jobs actually is really characteristic of our labor market. We are now in forthcoming bare months, and we will see an uptick in activities preparatory to the Christmas season, and that means more jobs available. But again, the nature is something that we have to really look into. As far as the Department of Labor and Employment is concerned, we would like to really have more secure jobs, and definitely this will encourage our job seekers to stay in the Philippines and not just opt for overseas employment.
Before the Burr months, there is the August 7 deadline on tariffs. We're buffeted by those trade policies and tensions. How's the labor situation now in our export-oriented sectors like electronics? Are they feeling the early pressure already of the global trade tensions?
As of now, based on information I have, they have not yet actually felt the impact. I think in fact, we are seeing also some improvements in terms of employment in this sector.
But that's presumably because of the front loading. Do you have any policy or any plan to help them to cushion the impact if and when it comes?
Yes, we do have a program in place. This is what we call the Adjustment Measures Program, which is available to both employers and workers so that we can actually bridge through and try to more or less weather whatever negative impact that this particular item or issue will actually bring about.
Now, this past July, we've seen a 50 peso daily minimum wage increase. It was approved for workers in the National Capital Region. Do you think the hike is absorbable on the part of the NCR-based employers? Or is there a risk of a decline in employment in the region?
That is always something that we are now closely monitoring, Cathy, because I think the regional tripartite wages and productivity boards, despite the calls for its abolition, is actually to us the appropriate mechanism to address the issue of minimum wage. Remember, Cathy, we are only talking about the minimum wage. It is the entry-level wage or the floor wage for unskilled workers. No, we are just making sure that they are protected from being paid unduly low wages. So part of our actually what we do is try to closely monitor the impact on employment. Also, when they do deliberate, the members of the board, which is tripartite in character, workers, representative, and employers alike, as well as government representatives, they look at indicators. Kasama dyan, included in that particular deliberation would be the impact on the employment level, inflation, as well as the gross domestic product, as well as the possibility and the potential of having increased investment in the countryside. We have to disperse the actually the improvement, economic growth, so that we can be true to what we are saying, that there should be inclusive growth for everybody, and that they need not go. Job seekers need not go to urban centers to be able to find jobs and land better jobs.
So are there plans to raise the minimum wage in other regions in the country?
Yes, as we speak now, Cathy, there are a number of regional tripartite wages and productivity boards conducting activities like public consultations, which will be followed by a public hearing. And then eventually there will be the deliberation of the members of the board. And within the year, we expect that almost all regional tripartite wages and productivity boards will be finished with their process, and that new wage orders can be expected.
Just as a final point, Secretary, labor productivity remains low in many of the sectors, and that includes agriculture, construction, logistics. What are you doing at DOLE to ensure that that gap is removed or at least attenuated?
Cathy, we have an attached agency called the National Wages Productivity Commission. This is actually the commission that oversees the different regional tripartite wages and productivity boards. Maybe not many are aware that other than fixing the minimum wage, our regional tripartite wages and productivity boards are doing productivity improvement activities. So kasama ito, this is part of the mandate of the RTWPBs, and we do the extension of technical assistance, especially to small and micro enterprises, to be able to help them really sustain their growth and probably preserve and enhance employment opportunities.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your insights. Benny Laguesma, the Secretary of the Department of Labor and Employment.